we are trying to prove that actually there's a tremendous appetite for local journalism if it's done in a particular way. So our office is across the road from where Harry Evans used to work at the Manchester Evening News. So his second job in journalism was at the MEN. And now I think the building that used to be a grand newspaper office is a Boots. But apart from that, I think it illustrates something, because back then, the MEN and most regional newspapers were so profitable that they subsidized national newspapers. So The Guardian was in the same building when Harry was working there, and the MEN, the Manchester Evening News, was subsidizing The Guardian. And now The Guardian has 1 million global supporters around the world, and newspapers like the MEN, even though they're still doing tremendously good journalism sometimes, they are struggling. The parent company of the MEN laid off 850 journalists last year, or 850 staff, 3 rounds of layoffs. And Press Gazette recently worked out that the 3 largest companies in local news in the UK employ 6,000 fewer local journalists than they did in 2007, down from 9,000. So it's the area, I think, which is the most battered in terms of business model.
Can I ask you something, though? And I don't mean to be flippant, but it sounds like you're arriving in Manchester, you're hiring some reporters, you're doing some journalism, people are paying for it. That doesn't sound radically different to a model that has successfully worked for many, many years.
Can I just say, on behalf of Joshi, what he's doing is incredibly smart. It's more than what you just said. He's identified an audience, he knows exactly who that audience is, and he's hyper-targeting them with stuff that they find useful, journalism, that they find useful. And therefore, they're coming back, and I'm sorry to take words out of your mouth, but I think it's a very, very clever thing that they've done. And I think the future of journalism, a lot of journalism, will be built around these very, very engaged core audiences. Manchester, American capitalism, you name it. There's a real advantage in digital in having that specialism.
Well, you do a very good job of answering the question that I was asking, but Joshi, I want to ask you further, which is... I wasn't being flippant. What I was saying was, on the face of it, this is core journalism, but clearly you're doing something extra. Part of it is being very targeted and very connected to your audience. Is there anything else you're doing that goes beyond the traditional model of reporting and then charging?
I'm going to let Emma answer all my questions.
This could be a new model. I'll ask one of you a question and then someone else.
My feeling when I started it was that British news has become too focused on incremental news updates. Well, I think we have a very news-heavy media. In the US, you have magazines that have a long tradition of doing more in-depth journalism. And it's not just good because it's in-depth information. It's in-depth in the sense that it gives you an emotional connection to the people involved, the Atlantic, the New Yorker, the New York Mag. And I wanted to bring a little bit of that American-style reporting here. And I think that has given us just a bit of a sense of an edge, or a bit of a sense of, I can only get this journalism from the Mail, I can't get it from the other local paper. So there's a little bit of an extra element there. And the lovely thing is, people seem to want to pay for that kind of journalism. Tina Brown journalism, let's call it.
Well, as the 3 of you are listening to this, do you think that what Joshi is doing in Manchester offers lessons to bigger media organisations like the one that...
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. He's doing what we should... He's really, really thinking about the use of what he's producing. There's no point us producing journalism that gives no value to anybody. It's got to be something that's original. I mean, we find what people really want from the Wall Street Journal is they want to learn something that they didn't know. So whether that's a scoop or whether it's some sort of revelatory reporting, or expertise is the other thing they want. They want things explained. So I think he does offer lessons. I think all the big legacy publishers should look at what he's doing